Hello again folks, JodoCast here, and this time I'm actually going to be showing you the mods that I'm doing to, this will be my own personal Rapid Strike. We all know what these things shoot like stock, so realistically the end result is going to be what I managed to get out of it after I've modded it. What I'm looking at doing is a full motor replacement using these little recommended, what's it called, Aliexpress or whatever, one of these Chinese marketplace replacement motors. Now these things are rated at 55,000 RPM at 12 volts, and I will be giving them 12 volts, delivered by a LiPo. Going to be doing a full rewire, replacing all the wiring with 15 AWG cable, and replacing all the switching with either 5 micro switches. I will also be putting in a voltmeter, which a la Tom from Foam Data Services, he puts one in at the top here underneath his little rails there, and connects it to the jam door. So when you open the jam door, it switches on and off. So I'll be doing the same as what Tom did with his. Shout out to Tom. The other thing I'm going to do, which is a little trick that I've come up with of my own, which I'm hoping all goes according to plan, is where this front sight is. What I've done is, with another one that I had, I have 3D printed a spacer to go in there to fit inside that section of front sight. Now it fits into there perfectly and is glued into place, and then the inner diameter of that is the perfect size for a laser diode. So I have actually inserted a laser diode into the center of that. So essentially this front sight up here will become a laser sight, which will be connected back to the rev motor trigger. So when you're revving up the gun, preparing to fire, you'll also get your laser sight as well. The other thing I'm doing is, which I've done on the Rapid Strikes before and you guys have seen, is a Muzzle Flash mod where I put LEDs along the side of the barrel. The barrel I do in a high reflective chrome paint. I'll be giving it a reasonable sort of a paint job, something a little bit different, something a little bit more standout, something I can actually use at wars if I want to take it to a war, that type of thing. But yeah, so let's get about pulling this thing apart. You know the drill. First thing you got to do is remove the battery tray up the front here. That will probably be getting dissected to accommodate a LiPo pack. Remove all the screws, and then you should be able to pull the thing apart. Now you guys have seen this done a million times. There's a dozen other videos on the web that you can check out and see how to go about dismantling, pulling these things apart and what have you. So I'm not going to bore you too much with that. The internals you're familiar with, there's that earth wire there that we've got to snip, so I'll just go ahead and do that. Alright, so after you have removed all the screws and everything, we can now lift all the internals out. There's the motor assembly, there's the wire cover that runs through the middle there, the pusher motor assembly, and the trigger assembly. Now the other thing you've got is that little switch on the jam door, so that all pops out, and trigger lock there as well. Okay, so there's your shell. So these are your internals. Yeah, we're not going to be using a lot of these bits. Essentially all we're going to be really using are the housings. Okay, so what I have found is that with the pusher assembly, it will fit without having to modify the shell. You will have to modify the housing slightly though. Let's see if I can get this so we can see it. Focus. Okay, so yeah, I've taken a piece out there, like dremelled a section out to accommodate the back of the motor and given it a little bit of venting space and what have you, because I'm assuming it's going to get reasonably hot with extended use. So I left a little bit of room around there, but tried to keep the as much structural integrity as possible. But that will fit into the blaster without having to modify the shell beautifully. And the front flywheel assembly, with that, all I had to do was, there's a couple of little round embossed sections in the bottom here, which dremelled off to flush them out, and then that will actually fit in there also without having to make gaping holes in the outer shell. Pull the trigger assembly apart. That's the top piece for the trigger assembly. Now I'm going to have a look at this and see if I can actually modify that. There's all the stock internals and bits and pieces. So I kept the trigger, roof switch, don't need this lock, ta-da. Yeah, so we'll have a look at this and see if that can be modified to accommodate some micro switches. So I will have a look at that next and see if we can go about mounting some micro switches and then move on to the wiring, I guess. Alright, I'll be back once I've made some headway. Cheers. Okay, so one of the features of my new rapid strike that I'm building, which I'm going to be calling the Lightning Strike, is going to be a Muzzle Flash mod, for which I'm using these Cree style super bright LEDs. Now what I've actually done is, just to give you an idea of where my head's at and what have you, and the theories that I'm thinking, on the inside of the shell I've actually painted it with a chrome paint. As you can see, it's like a highly reflective silver. Obviously that's not visible from the outside, and it won't be with the final paint job. Now the section that fits into that, which is this, I know this is the wrong side, but you get the idea. I've also painted the inner section of that in that highly reflective chrome paint as well. Now what I'm going to do is fit a couple of LEDs. Now in the past I have fitted them along this bottom edge to reflect off the barrel, and look, that does work fine, because actually, you know what I might do? I might grab the barrel and the end piece and whatever, so that I can sort of show you how it's going to go together and what it's actually going to look like, because it's kind of a bit hard to visualise with it painted the way it is. I'll be back in 1 second. So I'm back with the extra bits, and I'll try and step you through the theory of how this is going to happen. Alright, so you've got chrome reflective paint on the inside there. You've got your chrome finished barrel and muzzle end, and the chrome on the inner here. Now this piece obviously fits into here somehow, something like that. There we go. And your barrel will fit into there like so, something like that. Alright, so you get the idea of how that fits together internally. Now your external view is going to be like this. So you have your black on the top piece and at the bottom there, and breaking up the chrome work there. You can see the chrome through the vents at the top, and you can see the chrome barrel, and if you look down the side, that whole chamber there essentially is all chrome paint covered. So what I'm going to do is, you can see that plate at the back there that's facing towards us. I'm actually going to put these Cree super bright LEDs on that plate that's facing forward. So if I demonstrate on the other side, so on this side here, you've got your highly reflective chrome surfaces there, and these little Cree LEDs are actually going to mount in here, if I can get that to sit in the right spot, like such. If you can see that. So that's the plan. So as you look down from the front of the blaster, you're looking down the side of the barrel. You can see those LEDs are facing forward. So you'll get a forward effect. As if the blast is being pointed at you, you'll get that forward effect of the LEDs firing toward you. But being encased in this chrome reflective area, the light will bounce around and off the side of the barrel, and you'll get a nice bright, well, I'm hoping, a nice bright side flash as well. So you'll get that muzzle flash effect from the side of the blaster off the chrome barrel and what have you, bouncing out through that opening there. So that's what I'm going for. I'm hoping for a front-on muzzle flash effect, so that you get more of a forward-facing flashing effect as well as from the side. So that's the plan. Now I've just got to go about hooking these LEDs up. Now I'm going to be hooking them up in series. They will run on anywhere between 3 to 5 volts. If you're running them in series, run on anywhere between 12 to 20 volts. So there shouldn't be an issue with feeding them direct from the circuit in the blaster. And I'm going to run the supply for them back to the pusher motor switch. So they will actually flash, so they will light up and flash each time the dart pusher is pushed forward. So they will literally flash each time a dart is fired. Right, I'll go about trying to get this side sorted out and wired up, and I will be back when I've made some progress. Okay, so I have soldered the LEDs in place. This is just a basic jerry rig for testing purposes. As you can see, you've got the chrome coloured barrel through the middle there. If I turn the flash on, you can see a little bit better. You've got chrome up through the top venting there. The rail will go back on where it was there, so obviously it will be a different colour and painted up and what have you. That you can see those black sections obviously are going to be black, and you can see the silver through the vents there. That's just another little trait that I like to do, as I did with my other Muzzle Flash modded Rapid Strike ages ago. Alright, so I'll turn the flash off and I'll see if I can sort of give you a rough demo of what it's going to look like. Okay. So you can see the effect. It actually lights up right up through the vents and down the side of the barrel. And you can see it casts the light forward. You can actually see it flashing onto the bench there. Well, okay, yeah, you can see the LEDs back there. So you can see what the front-on effect will look like. Alright, so to show you what they actually, what the setup looks like, I'll remove. Okay, so there we go. So a little bit of the paint came off when I was drilling little pilot holes for the LEDs to run through. So basically, there they are, flashed in there. You've got the little legs come out the back, and I've used hook-up wire to solder those together. There's no danger of this shorting out on anything, so I'm not overly concerned about that. So yeah, you've got your two LEDs on the other side, and just hooked up to a couple of fly leads just for now, for the purpose of demonstrating and what have you. So so here you go. So this is what it looks like out of the shell. you can see that the concept was to try and light up that cavity right down the side of the barrel, and as you can see, it seems to be quite effective in doing that. So yeah, once the gun's all assembled and everything, the blaster is all assembled and everything, I hope that will actually give a really nice muzzle flash effect. Alright, so that's that side of it. Now we'll press on with the rest of it, which I'm just in the process of rewiring. Excuse the mess, but in the process of rewiring the whole trigger cage setup. Oh yeah, I've done a cut down trigger, like I've done before, so that once the actual cow's on, all you see is the cut down trigger, like on my minimised rapid strike. So it's the same type of trigger effect. Again, you got your chrome paint on the inside of the shell there. Now I've got our Aliexpress motors in the motor housing, so that's in. I've got another one in the dart pusher. It's all been rewired with the 5 amp micro switches. All the wiring's in place. It's all 15 AWG wiring run through. Next thing is to get everything into place, work out what's going where, and wire it up accordingly. Set up the laser sight. That's the next thing I've got to do, is do that. Test all the wiring configuration, what have you. Then the whole lot's going to come back out of the shell, so that I can do the paint job that I want to do, and then the whole lot will go back in, be reassembled, and I should be able to show you the finished product. Alright, I'll get back to work and show you some more once I've made some progress. Just to give you a bit of a sneak peek, this is where we're at. Yeah, them loud, and once you get it up and revving and the pusher motor going, so as you can see, that pusher motor is freaking fast. So, yeah, there you go. That's where I'm at currently. I need to, limit some of the voltage going to that pusher motor to slow it down a bit. Apart from that, we're looking pretty good with the muzzle flash is working, blah, blah, blah. I've got to work out the laser diode setup, where I'm going to have to use a voltage regulator, etc., to bring it down to 5 volts and what have you to run the laser diode. But yeah, we're getting there. I will come back with some more progress when I've made it. Cheers.